So what you see on this slide here is you see 4 quadrants. And here's how this is laid out. So you have this axis, this vertical axis, is how fast the company is growing. So this line is 0%, and this line here is 10%. That's the speed of growth of your market, okay? And then if you're number 1 in your market, then you're in this column, okay? If you're number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you're over here. Now what Richard Koch teaches this in his book Simplify. Boston Consulting Group figured this out 50 years ago. It's one of the most valuable things I could ever show you, okay? So really quick here. If you're number 1 in a market growing 10%, you are a star. Almost all of the profit and growth comes from star businesses. If you're going to invest in a company, you should invest in a star business. I've known Richard Koch for less than 5 years. In that time, his net worth has gone from less than $200 million to more than $700 million. He's done that by investing in star businesses. Every business that I've been successful with has been a star business. Every single one. And even before I knew it, even before I had language to describe it. Now, if you're number 1, but your market is growing less than 10%, you're a cash cow. A cash cow would be a company like maybe Procter & Gamble or Coca-Cola. The market for Coca-Cola is not growing 10% a year. Maybe it's growing 2% a year, but they're number 1 and they're making a lot of money, okay? Now, if the market is growing fast, but you're not number 1, you're a question mark. You may be okay, you may not. And if the market is growing less than 10% a year and you're not number 1, you're a dog. Now, you definitely don't want to be a dog, okay? And being a question mark is usually not fun either. You want to either be a star or a cash cow. And either way, you need to be number 1. So how can you be number 1 in a market? You need to find a part of the market where there's an unmet need. Vilfredo Pareto came out with the Pareto principle, and people have known about it for 100 years. There wasn't any books about the Pareto principle until Richard Koch wrote the book 80-20 Principle. That book sold 1 million copies. So Richard became the number 1 book in a category that nobody had ever claimed. Okay? Now, if I had just written another 80-20 book, I would be number 2. And it sucks to be number 2. Being number 2 is no fun. Being number 3 is no fun. You want to be number 1. I wrote a book called 80-20 Sales and Marketing. Nobody had ever explained Pareto, fractal Pareto, to sales and marketing people. And I created a market that didn't exist.